Okay. All right. So here we are.
This meeting is being recorded.
We are here with Lori Boss and Carrie Sherman in Greenville, Ohio, correct?
Yes.
Cool. Thanks for joining us today because we are about to get started on writing our grant. It's a STEM grant through Battelle, $5,000 per teacher for this any teacher in the state of Ohio. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen just to go over some of the basics really quick to make sure we've covered everything, Carrie, because I know you and I spoke earlier and I was driving down to Dayton, so I didn't actually get to share these slides with you. So give me a little thumbs up if you can see my screen.
Yep.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so we are here with Growing Greatness with STEM. Again, we are with Lori and I are with a company called Juice Plus and Tower Gardens. And you can see if you scan that QR code, then it'll take you all the details. I think I sent you a link to that directly, Carrie. You can also see a picture of one of our vertical aeroponic NASA design gardening systems. And I'm going to just show you a quick video. Have you seen this yet, Dr. Steven Ritz?
I know there was one video I had watched that was sent with some of the information I saw, but I don't think it was necessarily this one.
Okay. So this one's actually a really good video. Just for training purposes, we'll just go ahead and skip it, and I'll send this to you directly so you can watch it on your own. But Dr. Steven Ritz is, he started out in a classroom just like you and I did, and then he started sharing it all over the world. These tower gardens are NASA designed technology back in the early 2000s. It was first revealed to the public in Disney World and Epcot Center. Since then, the head horticulturist Tim Blank there at Epcot Center has moved on to Juice Plus and Tower Gardens as our Chief Technology Officer. And so this is a little bit about the grant itself. This particular grant is for the 2022-23 school year. It has to be turned in by October 10, but we didn't want to wait till the last minute because we wanted to give you plenty of time to gather any information that you needed to. Again, it's K through 12, public, charter, independent schools. You have the option of applying for the 2,500 or the 5,000, and once you click on the link, it'll give you that option. I don't know why you wouldn't go for the 5,000 if it's available, right?
Yeah.
And it tells you can use it for anything STEM except for furniture, cash, gift cards, salary, food, general office supplies, or things that are not related to the STEM activities. So you can use this grant for any STEM materials. We are specifically going to give you some verbiage if you want to use it towards the vertical gardening systems that you see here on my right shoulder. So the applicants must turn in the grant by 9 o'clock on Monday, October 10th. You will receive an email on November 20 or in November, beginning of November, saying, hey, congratulations, Carrie, you have won the $5,000 grant that you applied for, or hey, unfortunately, we have we found a couple things on there that were either with some red flags or you didn't score as high as some of the other applicants. But from what we've been told, there's no way of telling how many applicants are going to be applying, obviously, until we get closer to that deadline. But we have been told that there is a lot of money to go around, and so don't worry about competition, if you will. If you are awarded the grant, then the funds will be dispersed in December, which means you will have the ability to purchase everything before Christmas break. If you put in for the tower grants itself, when we'll help you through that process, then you should have those tower grants before Christmas. And then I'm more than happy. I know that Lori has plenty of experience with tower gardens as well. So she can help you put those together. She can show you tutorials on how to do that. I've actually made a tutorial online on YouTube. And so you can see how that's put together yourself. Or we can come out and help you out with it ourselves. I travel out to Illinois a lot, and so I think I pass you on my way out there, and I'll probably be going out there for Christmas. So I could probably stop by and teach you how to do it. So you don't have to worry about, looking kind of clueless when you're talking to your students about it. We'll make sure we'll empower you with all the tools and the knowledge and the skills in order to be proficient, more than proficient, to share with your students. You have to use all the funds before June 1st. So you have the entire rest of this school year. And then for the month of June, you have a whole month to write up a report, which is really a paragraph to say, hey, this is what we did, this is what we said we were going to do, and this is how it turned out, the outcomes. We already passed the grant writing session on this past Wednesday, and that's why we're doing this makeup. And one of the purposes of, or one of the benefits of getting these tower gardens worldwide, right? And we have them in over 10,000 schools in the US alone, is because this is a picture that looks like it could have been taken, I don't know, maybe yesterday or 50 years ago. And it's kind of sad because most industries have evolved over the past 50 years, but the classroom, for the large majority of classrooms across America, have rows of desks with students being talked at. And so our job, one of our missions, our vision, is to transform the classroom into this. And so this is what a classroom looks like in a Tower Garden STEM classroom. You can see Dr. Steven Ritz down at the bottom with his high school classes. He actually started out in elementary. This year is in Columbus, Ohio. It's a program called Urban Gems. That's one of the head chefs at OSU. We partner with all sorts of community partners, locally as well. You can actually see Columbus Public has over 50 tower gardens, and they move them around because they have dollies, so they're mobile, and they have a mobile kitchen even. And so that mobile kitchen was purchased through a grant where it has a tabletop that comes off the top, another tabletop that comes off the back, and it's got an internal burner. It has a refrigerator on the inside. It's got all sorts of equipment that they can actually stovetop cook the produce that they take off of the garden, and the kids will plant, maintain, harvest. They'll take it out to the community and teach their own neighborhood how to cook the produce off of the tower gardens. So a pretty cool program. That's the called Urban Gems there. Again, we have them in schools all over the country. And we even empower the teachers to take the produce on a weekly basis. And anything that the kids don't take, obviously the kids get priority. And we'll do salad in a jar parties. And so we'll teach you different ways to empower people to get healthier. It's not just limited to, I know, Carrie, what age groups do you work with? I think it was high school, right?
Yeah, high school, 9 through 12.
Okay. The tower gardens have no limits. You can go all the way down to preschool, daycares, preschools, elementary, middle school, high school, college, and beyond. In fact, we even have them in senior facilities. Sorry, not facilities. Don't like to call it facilities. Neighborhoods, and homes all across the country. In fact, you'll be added to a Facebook group that has over 26,000 tower gardeners worldwide. So you can get ideas from, I wonder what type of tomatoes you can grow on there, or pumpkins for Halloween coming up.
Yeah.
This is a cool video. I think I may have put this in a playlist that I sent you. Elementary schools. There's another special ed one. I thought it was pretty cool that when we initially put this out there for teachers across Ohio, I thought it was going to mainly be science teachers. But like for your classes is an ag class.
Yes. Yep.
And I think about half of the teachers that have jumped on and that are applying are actually like special ed and special needs. So that was unexpected, but it's pretty cool. This is an example of our Tower Garden page that gives you access to all of the lesson plans. And I think if you click on it here, it gives you, can you still see that?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is one of our Tower Garden websites that you have access to, and you can actually use some of these materials depending on your grade level, and just download it and use the verbiage into your grant. And that'll score you some extra points because they're looking at like standards based. They're looking at expected outcomes, and all those are actually in the lesson plans already.
Okay.
So that's pretty cool. Let's see here. And then all sorts of different content, from sustainability to soil preservation and turnover to speed of growing. It grows 3 times as fast as it would in soil. Actually, I like this video. I'm going to show this video real quick.
Okay.
This is a time lapse. So this is week 0, week 1, week 2, week 3, and the limiting factor of water is not a limiting factor anymore. As you can see in week 4, lots of luscious after you put the seedlings into the tower gardens, because the water trickles over the roots. It's an aeroponic system, which means that center console in the middle there, the water shoots up to the top and then trickles down using a cascade system over the roots. So the roots are aerated. There's constant movement of water over top them. You don't have to have any fish, no soil, no weeding, no bacterial or gravel or secondary tanks like you do have to have in like hydroponic systems. And because it is aeroponic, you can go vertical. Like the sky's the limit, like figuratively speaking and literally speaking. You can go higher and higher and higher. I wouldn't recommend going more than 7 stacks tall, because then you start having to get into a stronger pump. And here in Ohio, having light blades or a light system that is going to reach all those. If you wanted to go 9 stacks, 11, 13 stacks tall, then we can have that conversation. There's actually some that do. O'Hare Airport, for example, has 26 tower gardens that are 11, 13 stacks tall, and they share the produce amongst the 67 restaurants that are 67, 68 restaurants in O'Hare Airport. So if you go 12 tower gardens or more, we consider that a tower farm. And there's tax benefits and all sorts of stuff with that too, if you're looking into that and making your home a farm. And so that's an example of a tower garden. This is a time span of 11 days from left to right. And so it grows super fast. You can grow huge heads of lettuce. You were talking about your bib lettuce, gourmet lettuce, butter lettuce. Delicious. Everyone always asks, what can I grow? You will be given all the seeds. However, you can put whatever you want. So if you want to go to the Dollar Tree and pick up some seeds, or flowers even, or pumpkins or squash, you can grow anything above ground that is not a tree. So you can see a lot of different microgreens here, baby greens, basil, arugula, chives, cilantro, and then also some big ones down at the bottom here with zucchini, tomatoes, peppers. And there are examples of these in that Facebook group that we'll add you to. Here's just another couple examples. These are 7 stacks tall, so you can see 7 sections, and each of those sections you can fit 4 big plants. We're also going to give you the option of getting microgreens, and we talked about that a little bit earlier too, and I think you're getting the combo, so you can certainly do that, and we'll give you some pricing on that. This is a video about how it works. We'll send you that separately. Absolutely love that it grows 3 times as fast, 30% more yield, no soil because it uses just water. And because all the water is caught in the basin and pumped right back up to the top, it only uses 2% of the water that it would in regular soil. So for your ag studies, and you could literally do some quantitative data on comparison between the tower garden and what you can grow outside, with how much water, how much less space. I mean, this is really, when it first came out back in 2009, this system was coined the future of our food, or future of gardening. And now it's consistently won as the most efficient and effective alternative growing system when you size it up against all these other tower garden, or all these other garden systems. So we're really proud that we have the ability to share this, and it pays for itself. So you guys are getting it free. Don't forget to put the tax exempt in there, because obviously you want to get tax free as well. The bigger picture, right, beyond teaching them concepts, and you can put all this stuff in the grant, right? So I see you taking some notes. outcomes, right? Beyond just, oh, they're going to learn about photosynthesis. Oh, they're going to learn about sustainability. You can actually transform their microbiome, their gut. Your students are going to eat this, because Cornell University and Ohio State University did a study that showed that kids that grow their own food are 5 times more likely to eat it. And so the left 2 pictures here, this is what lunches used to look like. You may have experienced that when you were younger. I know that this pizza here had recycled sausage and cheese from the breakfast lunch that we had the day before, and our side of marshmallows and granola and raisins, along with our vegetable, right, was iceberg lettuce. And let's be honest, how many people eat that, right? I threw it away.
Yes.
So instead of all these nasty lunches here, right, what if you could empower your kids at your school to eat like this? And that's what these tower gardens do on the grander picture. Even bigger than that, again, you are taking this home, like the kids are actually taking the science home in their small intestines, and so they are telling their parents at grocery stores. I remember getting this email saying, hey, my kid asked for kale when we were walking around Kroger, and I didn't even know he knew about kale. I have a really cool video about these high schoolers fighting over what it's called, because they are they thought, one kid thought it was like some sort of kale, and the other one thought it was some sort of lettuce, or bib lettuce or something like that. And these are like huge buff football players and baseball players fighting against each other. Like, no, I thought this is dino kale. Like, again, we were talking about microbiome in your gut, and this is really our biggest vision, is to transform the health of your students, not just themselves, but their siblings. They're going to take it home and transform the health of their kids once they get older. And so this is a ripple effect that you are going to see in the world, in activating genes in the future here. It's called, we call it a science called epigenetics or nutrigenomics. And so that's a little bit about tower gardens here, and some verbiage that you could probably use in the outcomes. I also wanted to actually write some of this down. So what I'm going to do now is give you access to our template. Okay, so I put at the very top of this Growing Greatness with STEM. This is a template for teachers. And so these are the deadlines, or the important dates. I also put in here the proposal evaluation criteria. There are 4 sections. First one is about it's called a project narrative. It's the meat of the grant. So 45 points. It has the majority of the points. And we've inserted a couple things that you can use as ideas for writing your grant. Also, the impact and the outcomes. And so I'll go over each of these when we get down here below. And then the budget template. This is what I sent you earlier in a spreadsheet format. So Carrie, I'm going to go ahead to, it tells you on the sheet, this document is a preview only, make a copy. And when you're ready, then submit the grant here. Okay. I'm going to share this with you. So I'm going to insert or actually, oops, my bad. I'm not even following directions. Come on, Henry, follow directions. All right, make a copy. All right, so make a copy, change the word template to your name. So Carrie Sherman. I'm going to take out the copy of, make a copy. Okay, so this is your copy now. You can edit it as much as you want. I'm going to share it with you right there. And Lori is also on this call, and she's going to be helping you write that grant as well, since she's the one who introduced you to it. So now it should show up in your email. So go ahead and check your email, make sure that that is sent, and you have access to that as well.
Yep, there it is.
Awesome. Okay, so I understand that you're looking at yours on your computer and you're logged on your iPad, which is perfect. So you'll be able to follow along here. I'm going to scroll down, and you can see The information that you are going to fill out, we've highlighted in yellow. And again, this is not the actual grant, but the suggestion that Battelle is really putting out there is to create a Google document, which you have here. Make all of your answers to the information here, and then copy paste it into the actual grant. And that way you have a record of it. You remember what you had submitted. And a lot of times schools will request, when you're purchasing something of this magnitude, a copy of the grant. And so you have a copy of that at all times. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. And so all this yellow stuff, have you previously participated in? This is the Ohio STEM Learning Network. It is a it's a reoccurring grant a network that has reoccurring grants. So if you know of any other teachers in your district that have ever applied or won, it'd be a good idea to put it in there. If not, if you don't know, if you're not aware, then no big deal.
Okay.
And that's going to help you fill out some of this other information here. If you don't know your school's IRN, you can look it up by clicking on that link.
Okay.
And you just type in your school name and stuff, and it'll come up. Grades you teach. Are you public or private? Are you a STEM school? What is your designation? Which hub? So this is what region you want to click on this map, and you'll be able to select which Ohio STEM Learning Network hub you're in. And then school demographics. So I think I may have sent you an email about gathering some of this information. Did you receive this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, some of that was in the one email that you sent with the 3 different documents.
Awesome. Right. So how many students were enrolled? Are you a Title I? Percentage of free and reduced. Now this here, you are going to star that one. This one is going to give you extra brownie points. Star that one. Because one of the pieces of the rubric is how many students are underserved. Okay. And then your short narrative, you can, what I would do is, instead of putting the narrative and the demographics here, start by going down here to the proposal information, because I think it's the second section, this one right here, that says, the 20-point section. Does the project impact high percentage of students, and does the project expose traditionally underserved students? So write this one first, because this one's 1,200 characters. Actually, I think there's words.
Okay.
Let me double check on that.
Okay.
I think if you click on the actual the actual grant itself, then it'll tell you, I think it's 1,200 words.
Okay.
But so this here is where you really want to try to say how many, the more students it's serving, the better.
Okay.
The more underserved students, then the more points you will gain in this section. And then you can take a segment of that and put it back up here to the 250 characters max.
So like for the amount of students that would be serving, like it would just be serving like the kids that are in my program right now, right?
Yes, but
okay.
Here's an idea, right? So under that first section that says project narrative, remember this is 45 points.
Yeah.
Right. Part of it is the project collaborative, interdisciplinary across subjects and grades? So if Carrie, if you can figure out, I believe you said you had a teacher next door.
Yeah, family consumer science that's looking at this too.
So family and consumer science, they cook pizzas. They teach the kids how to, prepare food and all that kind of stuff. So if they are using it, then this is where you're going to put, this is a collaborative, this is interdisciplinary. And let's say some of those students are not just 9th and 10th graders, they are they're 11th and 12th graders, right? Or you can, in this section, you want to put in, we're going to be zooming in with the middle school, or we're going to invite the middle school, and our kids are going to teach the middle schoolers a couple of their lessons and things that they've learned. This section also includes community partners. So,
Okay.
and college readiness, right? So community partners, here's a couple examples. Community partners. These are examples, real examples of tower gardens that exist around the US. Okay, we have them in assisted living. We have them in local colleges. We have them on rooftops of homeless shelters, libraries, community centers, restaurants. They're even in the White House, Ronald McDonald House, in hospitals, farmers markets. And so these are examples of how schools have been able to partner with communities, and that will only help you earn points in this section.
Okay.
Now,
so like partnering with our, we have like a local food pantry, like being able to grow some of the produce and donate some of that to them for passing out to that.
Perfect. Yep.
Okay.
Definitely want to include the name of that, and write down, this is a community partner that we've partnered in the past. If you don't have a relationship with, let's say, your local Ronald McDonald House yet, that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
This is a proposal. So
Mm-hmm.
it means that you're going to be reaching out to them, and you're going to be, proposing that you are partnering with them. And if you don't end up doing it, then there is some wiggle room when you do your summary in June, to say, hey, this is what we ended up doing instead, because we ran into these things with Ronald McDonald House. Okay. And if you need connections with those or examples, like I can connect you with the Ronald McDonald House here of Columbus, and our head chef over there. She can help you with some verbiage, or talking to the Ronald McDonald House over at, in your area. Collaborative and interdisciplinary. These are some examples that I've written down for you. It's not just limited to science and math, right? Writing. Mm-hmm. In fact, every single one of those lessons that you saw, that I shared with you earlier on that PowerPoint, has writing standards that are built into those lesson plans. Gifted learning, special needs, art, business, food science applications, you name it. I shared about the grades, right? Students, have your students teach other students, and that's going to boost your points as well. And this is just one of the phrases that our Denise Jones, she's one of our former principals, and now she oversees 9 districts here in Ohio. Impacts. This is how she summarized how she uses her tower gardens, because she has, I think, 4 tower gardens in the school that she was teaching in last year. She said it impacts students of all ability levels to participate in project-based learning. It creates community of learners that impact students and staff and community in a positive outcome. The schools outcome school to work transition skills. So I'm showing you this for 2 reasons. 1, because it's an example of what you can write on there. You know all the buzzwords for education. But 2, to show you this is what was written on another grant. So don't use exact verbiage on here, because there's a clause in the grant itself that says, if there are multiple applications that contain the same verbiage, then those applications will be disqualified. So I've given you examples here, modify them, use, edit them to your school, and try to shift around, as much stuff as you can. That also includes the budget. Any line items on there that don't apply to you, delete them, because you want to make this as unique as possible. As unique as it is, the more points you're going to score. Something that's going to make you stand out, and that is in the next 2 sections, right? Does it impact the high percentage of students? This is worth 20 points. And expose traditionally underserved students to STEM learning. Okay. Also in the 25 section, anything that's going to make you stand out. Does the application provide strong explanation of the anticipated outcomes? And how will it deepen students' understanding? Anything that is going to make you stand out and carry yours is going to stand out because you're an ag teacher. I don't think there's any other ag teachers that are applying to this. So it
Okay.
should be easy for you to stand out. This here, I've given you this verbiage straight from the Google Doc that I left you before. Real life applications for students K through 12 in areas of sustainability, growing healthier food, encouraging and empowering families to make lifestyle changes that impact the longevity and quality of their life. Photosynthesis and cell respiration, texture and taste, nutrient density, acid-base reactions, plant and cell biology, human anatomy and physiology, phytochemical and elemental cycles, functional food, cardiovascular hygiene, experimental design, teamwork, community engagement, all that stuff. Okay. Anything that you can include that is going to state these are some possible outcomes. And again, it doesn't mean that you have to stick with this, but it's a proposal.
Yeah.
And then the last of the 4 sections is the budget. Okay. And also, I've created a separate budget for you, and I think you already have that. So,
Yep.
For those who, just for the recording purpose, this is the, let's see, this is the budget template. It says make a copy. So file, make a copy, change the name up here to the teacher's name, and then share it with that teacher. So Lori, did you catch that?
I did.
Perfect. And so I've done that already for you, Carrie, and it looks like you've already started writing some of that stuff down.
Yeah.
And so I've left a couple blanks so you can insert your own stuff on there. And I put all the formulas in, so it should calculate everything. And if you have any questions about any of these, then you can put them in there.
Now, when you said like budget, even making that look like our own, so anything that like we wouldn't want, so all those places that have the blanks, go ahead and delete those
Correct.
to make it okay.
Yeah, if you're not getting another pump, which there's no reason for you an extra pump, then I would delete that row.
Okay.
Your Tower Garden units up here at the top include the pump. They include the pH kit. They include the net pots, the starter seed, the seedling starter kit, all the rock wool that you need. In fact, as a school, if you purchase anything over $1,000, which is this is over $1,000, you are going to receive 98 rock wool, extra rock wool, just for being a school, and 30 extra net pots. Don't throw those away. You can recycle those.
Yeah.
Use them from harvest to harvest.
Yep. Just be a lot of cleaning out of roots.
Yep. So all of these should be in place there. Anything that you want to add to these, you can add just to make it sort of unique on there.
Okay.
Let's see here. Yeah. And definitely want to make sure that this is shared with the people that are going to be helping you out with. So Lori's shared, I'm shared, and that way we can support you in, like for instance, this Tower Garden Flex does not have wheels, so it's a good thing that you have, your lights, and because the good thing that you have dollies on there.
Yeah.
Or dollies.
Because I remember that conversation. That doesn't come with the dollies. I'm like, well, I want to make sure I have enough money there to get the dollies, especially we're going to move them around, because I'm sure we'll be doing that.
Right. And so those dollies that you see on the ones behind me here, that's going to only help you to expand how many students in the school are going to be able to access it, which is the second and third parts of the grant writing. So it's going to score you more points. We actually have these in, we use them in our environmental science classroom here at Dublin Jerome, but we also wheel them down into the cafeteria, down to the guidance office. We have one in the attendance office, in the main office, down to the library. We roll it down to foods and fitness and the global gourmet, into the business, into the special needs. I mean, so you figured my room, or one room that has maybe 26 students, right? Or if you have multiple classes coming in, so 125 students, but I take that Tower Garden and move it to next door, that's another 125 students. We take it into special ed, that's another 125 students. And so really, how many students in our school use this one tower garden. It could be 500 students.
Okay.
Okay. All
Because
right.
even one thing that, like I was talking with another teacher, so in ag, we have what's called supervised ag experience projects, where kids are actually developing their own project that they want to do to learn more. And this is one thing we started talking about, like a kid could, utilize one of these to do a supervised ag experience where they're doing either some sort of research with it or just, learning to grow their own and then use it towards that project as well. So
Yeah,
lots of different
that's
opportunities with
perfect.
it.
Like all of that, Carrie, just like brain dump all that onto your grant, because that's only gonna help you. For the title.
Can you hear me? I might
Yeah,
suggest
Lori.
capstones too. If your school writes capstones, I might suggest that as well.
Say, because I have a capstone class that the kid just goes out and works in an ag related field. Like the one kid I have this year, he works on the family farm. So yeah, that's the way I utilize a capstone class. But yeah, that's even something else I didn't think of a kid doing that way. Work-based learning too.
Yeah, awesome. There are several places on here that ask you to put a title on there. And so when you're putting a title on your grant, you're putting a title on your project, you're putting a title on your budget. Again, try to change that up, make that unique to your school so it doesn't get disqualified.
Okay. Last
piece is the finances. So the check is going to be written out to your district.
Okay.
Especially if you have multiple teachers that are applying for the grant within the same district, for instance, the person next door to you. So one single check will be written out to the district, and then it'll be dispersed amongst the teachers that applied. Same thing with the district IRN. That's from the top. You can look it up from the top and put it on there. And then when it says, your grant manager, treasurer, financial officer, one of the things to note too is if you haven't done this before, I think you've written grants before, right?
I'm sorry.
Have you written grants before?
No, this would be my first one.
Okay. So one of the things that I ran into is for purchases over $500, I couldn't get it from my school's treasurer. I had to go to the district treasurer to get all the information. And so if yours operates anything like Dublin, then they might have a certain threshold that if you're beyond that amount, then you have to go to the district treasurer to get all this information.
Yes, I know we have different people that do certain things. Like I had to go to one person in our district office to get in our district treasurer's office, because we have multiple, to get a W-9. So
Gotcha. Okay.
ours is, and
Awesome.
like one person can do one job.
Yeah.
It feels like in our district.
Yeah. So you will, so you already have your W-9, so it's going to make it super easy. And it's been signed and dated within the past 12 months. It's got your employer identification number on there to prove that you are a employee of the district. And so that's all the W-9 information. You'll actually upload that and send that in as well. And then there's some conclusion questions at the bottom that after you submit everything, how did you hear it? How would you rate the online submission system and stuff like that? And that's it. So you should have everything you need for that. And do you have any questions? You've had some great questions so far. So
the only thing we have to do is once we get this, the only sort of information we have to give back to the company is just like that paragraph that's due by June 30th.
Yes.
Because I know my.
Oh, Carrie, you still there? You froze up a little bit on me. Okay, and the last part of that too is make sure that you
This meeting is being
have
recorded.
shared all of those documents, both the grant writing draft and the budget with us, so we can look through that and help you, just like proofread it before you submit it. And that way we can make sure that one, you have the highest chance of getting that grant. And two, it's not going to overlap with other people's applications and disqualify you because it has the same verbiage as some of the other grants. That should be it.